How's it going, guys? This is 6am Chill here, and a few days ago I actually posted a video on the new EB9, the cargo grade 4 Nova Vague one. Well, yeah, right now I'm actually doing robots over dragons, because, I don't know, robots look cool, and they look cool, and they're German, so I'm sorry for if I mispronounce things, but I'm not German, so whatever. But yeah, today we are doing Galaxy Blaukluger deck, not the Immortal Azure Kaiser one, because that's just not as consistent. But Galaxy Blaukluger deck, and I'll just get right with it right away. To start off, we have 4 of the main ace of the deck. Galaxy Blaukluger. This card is the second restanding Vanguard for Nova. Well, my bad. The newest restanding Vanguard for Nova Grapplers. It is, in my opinion, an easier restander than Ethics Buster Reverse. His ability is when this guy is in Limit Break, you counterblast 2, discard 2 Nova Grappler cards from your hand, and when a Blau unit hits, it could be a Vanguard or it could be a Rear Guard, just as long as it hits, you get to restand the Vanguard as well as the Rear Guard behind it. So it's going to definitely hit for at least 19k, if it break rides 29k both times, if it hits. Again, it's an on-hit effect, but with Mon Blaukluger, the break ride of the deck, it's very easy to hit your opponent's Vanguard. Its other effect is it's a cross ride to Stern Blaukluger. Unfortunately, it's not a cross break ride with Mon Blaukluger, because if it was, that would make it even better, because we run 8k vanillas here, and to be able to hit 21k columns without a break ride is awesome. But unfortunately, it isn't, and Mon Blaukluger is still good enough where it works around with it. So that's Galaxy Blaukluger. Our next grade 3 is 4 Mon Blauklugers. Mon Blaukluger is the break ride of the deck for 1 counterblast when the unit rides on top of it, as well as gaining 10,000k like every other break ride. It gains an ability. The ability is you counterblast 1. After your Vanguard attacks, you get to stand all of your rear guards. It's like Ethics Buster, but better, because Ethics Buster just stands the front row rear guards. What this does, it stands the back row rear guards as well. So that's really good and really frightening ability. Plus, when you mix that with Galaxy Blaukluger, you know, you can just attack with your first 2 rear guards first. Then when you attack with your Vanguard, he literally has to stop your 2 other rear guard columns to go along with it. The only problem I see with that is that it may get a little counterblast heavy, because to do the combination, you need 3 counterblasts for it, because the counterblast for the break ride, as well as the 2 counterblasts to restand. But the thing is, this deck has a ton of damage and flippers, so it should be fine. So in order to effectively guard it, your opponent has to probably let the first 2 attack hits, then perfect guard the Vanguard, and then if you don't get a trigger, he has to waste 2 10k shields on the 2 columns over here, in a perfect world. So yeah, that combination is truly frightening. Plus, if he doesn't have enough guard, you may be even able to get enough attacks, like if you keep your counterblasts, unflipped. You may even be able to do as many attacks as Ethics Buster Reverse, so that's the really scary part of the deck. So yeah, that's it for the grade 3s. We're going to go on to the grade 2s. For the grade 2s, we run 4 of the best grade 2 in this deck. Mars Blaukluger. Now, as you know, for Galaxy Blaukluger to restand, you need to hit your opponent with a Blau unit. So that's why all the grade 2s have to be Blau in its name, in order to get the effect of Galaxy. So the thing is, Mars Blaukluger is the best grade 2 rear guard that the Blaus have. His ability is when your Vanguard's attack hits the opposing Vanguard, you get a counterblast 1, restand it, and it gains 5k. So then it's able to hit 11k bases, because it's 9k base, but it's able to hit, it'll then be 14. And that's really good. It's definitely the best grade 2 for the Blaus. So you have to run 4 of him. If not, then you're just not playing the deck right. On to our next grade 2. It's 4 Jupiter Blaukluger. He's just the 10k vanilla of the deck. He's important because we run Tough Boy, the 8k vanilla. And the thing is, with this deck, unfortunately, Blaus don't have 12k attackers. So in order to hit cross rides, you really need that 18k column, and the only, other than a grade 3 and a 7k, the only grade 2 that can do that would probably be Jupiter Blaukluger and Tough Boy behind it. So that's why I decided to run 4 of him. Plus, he's a very good early game ride. I mean, you know, when you ride into him, he's a 10k base. So that means it helps you stop Brainy Papio, Escrad, even Mobius, which everyone seems to be running in Link Joker. So that's why we really want to get that grade 2 ride in, just for defensive purposes. Because this deck, it's really frightening later on in the game. When any attack hits, can restand the Vanguard. So that's really good. And to round out the last of the grade 2s is we run 3 of the regular Blaukugers. His ability is that he gets 1k when Blaupanzer's in the soul, but we don't run Blaupanzer just because it's not a ride chain deck. Sorry about that. But also when he hits a Vanguard, you're able to unflip a damage, which is really important because you need your counterblast for A, Mon Blaukuger, B, Galaxy Blaukuger, and C, Mars Blaukuger, the other grade 3. So this deck is fairly counterblast heavy, but with all the damage and flippers, especially with Blaukluger, you'll be able to deal with it fine. So that's it for the grade 2 lineup. Onto the grade 1s. For the first grade 1, we have 4 of the Clay Dot Mechanic. He's really good. If other clans had him, he would be OP. But because he's for Nova Grapplers, he's just really good. When he is on the field, you get to unflip a damage. Just when he's placed on. So that means you literally have 4 damage unflippers in your deck. Which, in a counterblast heavy deck, it's really awesome. Plus, he's 7k base. So you can put him behind any of your grade 2s, and it becomes a 16k column to then hit a Vanguard or whatever. So not only is he flexible, but he helps unflip a damage. He's like this deck's version of Doran, but better, because he doesn't need Blessed or Dark to unflip damage. So you absolutely have to run 4 Clay Dot Mechanics, 4 of them. Next, we run 4 of the Tough Boys, the AK Vanilla. Like I said before, we run him just because we need something to hit cross rides, so we need the Tough Boy plus the Jupiter Blaukluger, as well as putting him behind Mon Blaukluger, the Break Rider of the deck. It then becomes a 21k column, which mid-game, that's really good, especially when your opponent's at like 3 or 4 damage. If he is at 4 damage, swinging for 21 is really important, so that's just more for your opponent to guard, so he's more likely that attack hit. And as you know, 21k is the magic number, which you need. So that's why we run 4 of him. The third grade 1 that we run is the 4 of the Perfect Guards. I apologize if I script the name. It's Blau Dunkelheit. Hopefully I get it wrong. He's just the standard Perfect Guard for the Blaus. You just need to run him just because of all the things that are out there. I mean, Descendants out there, Raging Forms out there that hits for high numbers. There's plenty of restanding Vanguards that hit for high numbers, so you need as many Perfect Guards as you can get. I mean, and especially with Novo Vague out there, where he's a Silent Tom, you need grade 1s to guard him. You absolutely have to run 4 Perfect Guards. And lastly, to round out the grade 1s, we run 2 of the Energy Chargers. He is the Soul Blast 2 to draw a card. He is 5k based. This deck, in order for it to be successful, you need a full field. And unfortunately, there's really no Nova Grapplers that really get you a +1. So that's why we really need to have as much draw power as possible. Because like I said, you need the full field to get your attacks in. I was debating on putting 3, but the thing is this deck does not run 12k attackers. So he's really only good behind the Vanguard. Because if you put him behind a rear guard, they have to be 11k base for him to make full use of his skill. So that's why we only run 2 of them. Like I said, if this deck got 12k attackers, I'd definitely be running more. But unfortunately, just 2. Now on to the grade 0s. The starter, which is probably the best starter in the game, is, I think I got this right, Morgenrot. His ability is that when he boosts an attack that hits an opponent's Vanguard, you get a Counterblast 1, search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Blau unit, and then add it to your hand. Now, that is such a great ability. It's a +1, like I said, which definitely helps you get more Blau units to attack with. And not only that, but let's say you're grade stuck. He really helps you filter out the cards in your deck. And like, let's say you need a grade 3. If you Morgenrot, get a grade 3, you have it added to your hand, you're no longer grade stuck anymore. If you need a grade 2, hopefully you get it with Morgenrot. And it really helps out. I mean, Morgenrot's probably the best starter in the game. And also, you could maybe even add a Perfect Guard to your hand with it, because the Perfect Guard's name is Blau. So he just gets any Blau unit with just a cost of 1 counterblast as long as it hits. It is the top 3 cards of your deck, so there are times when you'll get unlucky, but you just have to think the bad with the good. I mean, this guy's just awesome. The trigger lineup, there's a bunch of weird Nova Grappler named triggers out there, so I'm just going to let you know the triggers you should get. 6 critical triggers. It does. The thing is, 4 of them have to be the red lightning one, which is you put it on the field, put it into the soul, and then you get to unflip it damage, which really helps with unflipping because this deck is pretty counterblast heavy, so you really want as many empty counterblasts as possible. Then the next will be any 2 critical triggers after 4 red lightnings. It's just 6 regular critical triggers. Then 6 any draw triggers you want. I mean, there's a bunch of weird German named ones. Sorry to blast out Germany out there. It's just I really can't see it. Can't say it too well. I would recommend running the gong. The gong, I think that's what it's called, because it looks cool. But really, any 6 draw triggers and then any 4 heal triggers, just because you want to heal. I decided to run 6 crits and 6 draws instead of the standard 8 crits and 4 draws, just because, like I said before, you really need a field full of attackers, so you need all the draw power you can get. Nova Grapplers, in general, are pretty similar to Aqua Force, where when they're all together, when you have a full field of them, they really can become overwhelming to deal with. So you really need as much draw power as possible in your hand. So that's why you definitely need the 6 draw triggers as well. That's the deck list, guys. Thank you. If you have any comments or concerns or text that I didn't add, just comment below. Thank you for watching and subscribe if you can. Thank you.